Hello, everyone. Happy Throwback Week. NASCAR heading to Darlington Raceway for Throwback Weekend. Been some pretty sick paint schemes coming out this week. Going to be on the track this weekend. Of course, Zach and I will be breaking down the preview of the race as we always do. All three series are, in fact, in action on today's show. Episode 12, Zach, of Burnt Rubber Racing. It is the Ryan Blaney episode. I don't know when we started naming these episodes after drivers, but I think it's kind of funny, so we're gonna.
I think we started after 10 because we both like Almirola, so it's just gonna stick now until. But we missed both my drivers, so now I'm a little mad. So.
Yeah, so I guess shout out to we'll have to shout all the single digit cars out next week. We missed Quinn Houff there in the 0-2, so I guess there was no 0, but maybe we'll do an honorary 00 episode for him. How are you today, sir? Are you holding up all right after Kansas and the Bushy McBush Bush Fest last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing fine today. We'll just I'm just hoping for a better weekend this weekend at Darlington with all the throwbacks and whatnot.
Fair enough. I think we'll get a fun weekend of racing for sure. Darlington's always a good time. The Lady in Black, folks, we're excited to break all that down. Before we do, we're going to dive into a quick recap of the Cup and Truck Series at Kansas. We are going to talk a little IndyCar. They had a doubleheader last weekend at Texas. So we'll dive into what went down there a little bit. And we got some news and notes, big news in the world of NASCAR. You know, it's Throwback Week, but they are also looking ahead to next season. I'm sure you've already know by now that the next-gen cars are out, but we'll have some reactions for you on this end to those, and then it's on South Carolina for some DFS, some betting. We'll talk some stats and the like for the Goodyear 400. Maybe we'll sneak in a little Xfinity and truck talk too if we have time at the end. Follow the show on Twitter at Burnt Rub Racing, and you can also find us wherever you get your podcasts. Zach, we did want to touch here off the top and pay our respects here to a couple of racing names that unfortunately we lost here in the past week. Over the weekend, former NASCAR driver Eric McClure passing away at the too young age of 42. He did have some health problems. I haven't seen if they did come out with a known cause of death. I know he was going to be headed for an autopsy and some tests just to kind of see. But mainly in the Xfinity series was Eric McClure. He did make 3 career Cup Series starts as well, but 288 starts in what is now the Xfinity series over 13 seasons. He was known for his longevity and just his resilience. You can never hold him down, even when he didn't have supreme funding, supreme equipment. He was still out there and he was giving it his best each and every week. So shout out to Eric McClure, rest in peace. And IndyCar unfortunately had another one here as well. Zach, I'll let you touch on him quick here too.
Yeah, Bobby Unser also died over the weekend. The 3-time Indy 500 champion. I think it was, if I read correctly, he was natural causes because he was of old age and whatnot. But may he rest in peace too. And he'll be remembered in IndyCar lineage.
Yeah, 100%. Unser was 87. Died at his home in Albuquerque. So tough week in racing when you lose a couple of guys to death for sure. But we'll carry on their memory here with what we do, and of course everyone will at the track as well. So with that, I suppose we should jump to Kansas here, the Bushy McBush Race 400. A whole lot of Bush going on, and there was even more Bush when you consider who won not just this race but the truck race as well at Kansas. Not going to fully spoil it for you. We gotta have a little drama with this recap, right? 4 days later. Clean first stage for the most part, I thought, of the Cup Series race. Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson both started near the back of the field, and they were moving quick. Anything that jumped out to you from the early portion? I think Larson, that was what jumped out to me. He cracked the top 10 if I'm not mistaken, before the competition caution even came out. So for a guy who started 31st, I think, or something like that, that 5 car was moving.
Yeah, Larson just flew through the field, and it just made you think like he had a strong car. And I think every crew chief on the boxes took note of that 5 car and what they were going to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, kind of not a surprise, I guess, when we look back at some of the other 1.5-mile tracks here from the season so far. Of course, he won at Las Vegas. He was great at Homestead, great at Atlanta too. So whatever the Hendrick Motorsports 5 team's got cooking here with these tracks, they're good. Larson, I mean, he's easily my best bet if I had to say one driver is going to win more than one race, because that's how this season's going, right? It's going to be the 5 team 100%. Now, he's not going to be the only one. Obviously, Martin Truex has already done it, but Larson is going to get a second win, 100%. Into the second stage, I guess we can go now. Our boy Cody Ware with a little burnout there, entering pit road. What was going on there? All I saw were the Twitter jokes of Cody Ware wins the Bushy McBush Race 400 with the tires and the smoke of his pit road burnout.
Are we surprised?
Zach, this is your field right here. I'm gonna let you say what you need to say, and we're gonna move on quickly.
Are we surprised with this? I mean, this guy, I don't know how he's going to drive in the Indy 500 later this month. It just scares me to think that he's going to be driving a 200-plus mile-an-hour car at Indy. It just, it's good luck. Good luck to the rest of the 32 teams.
Yeah. If he qualifies, which that's something we got to bring up with the Indy 500 later. But I'll just kind of drop in that nugget that I found right before the show. What's that?
So we have another couple weeks before that. I think they don't qualify till the 22nd, 23rd, I believe. So.
Yeah, you're right. But I'll get to my point later. How's that? Let's see here. Back to Kansas, stage 2. Kyle Larson does win stage 2. Kyle Busch did win stage 1. So the Kyle show really here at Kansas. Go to stage 3. Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman. They make contact. Really looked like it was Wallace who kind of lost control there and caused it, but Bowman definitely got the worst of it. He went a lap down. He would eventually climb back onto the lead lap later in the race. Kind of took care of the 48 cars day as far as winning it. I thought they really had a winning car that could compete with their Hendrick teammates. William Byron was having a great run throughout this race as well. So 2 Hendrick cars, of course, Byron winning at Homestead, that really stood out to me. I think that the 24 and the 5 have got these 1.5 miles down pretty good. And then we're cycling through our last round of green flag pit stops. And one of Zach's guys, Tyler Reddick, tire, not only is it uncontrolled and loose on pit road, his other guy, Kevin Harvick, had a tire leave the pit stall and got penalized for it. But
that was in a caution, I believe, though.
Yeah, it might have been, but I still had to get it in there because it's your driver.
Well, okay. Let me interrupt you because you're not getting to the point. There was a tire sitting in the middle of the infield grass for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, not 13, not 14, 15 laps. Did NASCAR call a caution for the 14 laps? No, they waited until Chris Buescher pitted and they called it. That is bullshit, NASCAR. That is absolute bullshit. Why are you screwing a guy because of your incompetence? It was out there. Why was it not a hazard then? But immediately after Chris Buescher pits, it's a caution. Sus.
I mean, yeah, you pretty much laid my thoughts out there exactly. Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, Larry McReynolds, they're talking about, if they've let it go this far, right? And where the tire was, it really wasn't a threat to anyone who might be wiping out on the infield grass. Now, I get it. The precedent is when you have a tire on the grass, you're going to throw the caution, go out, pick it up. We're going to restart the race. That's fine. But when you're going to let the pits stop, cycle through, and let Buescher stay out and basically ruin his chances of, winning this race, his crew chief's calling it like he sees it, right? He sees a tire on the infield grass. He's going to let him run because they got to throw a caution sooner or later.
Why come in? Because you know the caution's coming out.
Yeah. Not only are you screwing Chris Buescher there, you're screwing Kyle Larson, who, when the caution finally did get thrown, had a 3.5 almost second lead over second place Denny Hamlin, I think, at that point. So you bring him back to the field too. So you're penalizing the guy who had the strategy correct based on the rule book, if you're going to follow it to a T there, that tire needs to get picked up and picked up efficiently, and you're penalizing the fastest car of the day. So not a good look there whatsoever. And, of course, you throw that one caution for that loose tire, and then we have some more cautions.
Cautions. The same old adage we've said for years.
Joey Logano tried a pit strategy to get himself up there, took 2 tires. He wound up having to go back in and take 4 tires on the final caution because there were, I think, 2 or 3 more after that.
Hamlin hit the wall, cut a tire. Then Christopher Bell decided to play JTG pinball and just bounce off both of them, essentially ending all 3 of their days, I believe. But that was it. Those were the final 2 cautions, which led to the final 2 laps.
Yeah, you would be correct. That did end all 3 of their days. It looks like Bell finished. Yeah, Bell finished the best of 28th of those 3. I liked how you phrased that. JTG Doherty pinball. Very well done. But, the end of this race was just kind of – it wasn't a good look. I mean, it was exciting, I guess, in a way, because they forced it to be exciting.
Manufactured drama is what all the NASCAR YouTubers are using, and it's exactly what it is. Yeah. You can't tell me that this was not manufactured because of that tire sitting right there, middle of the grass. We're gonna complain about this for a while. Don't think this is gonna go away. This move on before I go full rant.
And I thought I was mad about it, but my energy's drained because finals week. So yay! But Zach's bringing the fire for me.
I'm about to check up Mountain Dew.
And there's that. Last restart, Kyle Larson, he dropped back to the second line, and he was behind Ryan Blaney. He got a big run, pushed him. Ryan Blaney, I thought he was going to go around right there too. Somehow saved it, but that ended the hopes of winning for both the 12. Yeah, both the 12 and the 5. So, like I said, Kyle Larson getting screwed. He finished 19th after easily being the fastest car, and like I said, almost a 3.5 second lead when they threw the caution for that loose tire after 20 almost laps of it. Sitting on the infield grass. Happy birthday, Kyle Busch. He is now the second driver, I think it was, to win multiple times on his birthday. It's only happened twice. Kyle Busch is one of them. And he's our, 11th different winner? No, 10th. 10th and 11th. This week's number 12. 10th different winner on the season. So Kyle Busch gets it done in the Bushy race. We kind of laughed last week and said if one of the Busch brothers wins it, it'll just be so fitting. Unfortunately, it didn't kind of happen how we.
And the guy who finished second was the Busch guy. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Kevin Harvick did finish second. Zach's got to get him in there, of course. Brad Kay finished third. He led the majority of stage 1 before the rest were able to run him down. Matt DiBenedetto stringing together some nice finishes here. 4th, top 5 at Kansas for the Wood brothers. Chase Elliott gets 5th. Truex 6th. Tyler Reddick had a strong day. Really strong early. Finished 7th. Buescher did rebound to finish 8th. Got a break from that final caution. And he was able to get back on the lead lap there and have a strong showing, all things considered. Probably should have been better, though. And then we have William Byron, another top 10 in 9th, and Austin Dillon, both RCR cars in the top 10. Anyone else that jumped out to you? Any other final thoughts on this Cup Series race? I know we already kind of spouted off.
And we're still going to continue it because the manufactured drama needs to stop. It's going to deter fans away from the sport because, they're all close together. Yeah, but you're not going to bring in new eyes. You're going to get the old eyes out of there, which is not I can't think of the exact phrase I'm trying to think of, but it's not good for the sport, plain and simple.
Amen, brother. Amen. To be honest with you, I don't know if sports are bringing in new eyes in general right now. It just kind of seems like the trajectory they're on, as far as I'm concerned, or what I'm seeing with these ratings and whatnot. But at any rate, Kyle Busch, he didn't just win a Cup Series race over the weekend. He also won Saturday's truck race. 61st career victory for Kyle Busch in the NASCAR Truck Series. Of course, that is the most all-time. And I mean, really, Zach, the KBM show just continues here. Their run of dominance, that's 5 straight now for Kyle Busch Motorsports. I also found it interesting. Toyota trucks have won all 7 races. Of course, when KBM's won 5, and the same winner the first 2 weeks. I guess that makes sense. I guess diving into a quick recap here. Kyle Busch, John Hunter Nemechek, they dominated. They were out front pretty much the whole way. Sheldon Creed tried to keep pace. He ultimately got into the wall trying to do so. That pretty much ruined his night. Johnny Sauter, almost the same thing that happened in the Cup Series, where he stayed out of the pits there on that final cycle, trying to catch a caution. The caution never came. This time, though, the caution was for natural causes, shall we say. So not really an issue, I don't think, on either of our parts here.
I believe it's called a natural caution, not a natural cause.
The caution was due to natural causes.
There we go.
There you go. We've got our own ways of saying things around here.
Okay. You got to backdoor it, huh?
Damn right. Let's see here. So yeah, that the caution flew right after Sauter hit the pits. Didn't work out for him staying out either. Kyle Busch did get swallowed up on that first overtime restart. You wouldn't know it when you watched the second one.
He came right out, went 3 wide, and went right on past him. Beautiful move, and that's why Kyle Busch is one of the best drivers in NASCAR, no matter what you think of him.
100%. Another Cup driver, Ross Chastain, finished second. A strong race overall for Nice Motorsports. He was driving for them. So they try and figure some stuff out with their trucks. Austin Hill had an issue. What was it with him? Something mechanical, I think, right? Where they were on pit road working on it or something at one point. Finished third. So a nice rebound there for him. Of course, he was a little disappointed after the race because he's trying to win, which 100% respect. But impressive that they were able to rebound from, I believe they were a lap down at least at one point. So good stuff out of him. And John Hunter Nemechek topped the standings. We're going to have to do like a full standings kind of discussion, I think, on the show next week. Just after we have all 3 series in action at Darlington, we can kind of update on who's what and what's where. But, he's atop the truck race, truck standings, I should say, after the Kansas race. And so he got a nice $50,000 from Camping World. Anything else from NASCAR Kansas?
No, I think I'm all set with NASCAR for trucks at least.
Cool. So IndyCar was at Texas. I know we usually talk about IndyCar kind of toward the end of the show when we've got a race to talk about. There is no race this weekend. They are off. So doubleheader at Texas last weekend. We'll just kind of touch on that quick. Zach, you got 1 out of 2 right, my man. Scott Dixon got it done on Saturday. That was his 5th career Texas win. Zach was sure to let me know that he was 50% home to correctly predicting both Texas winners and the race they would win. Unfortunately, what happened on Sunday, Zach?
A caution came out and screwed Graham Rahal. He was he had the lead against Scott Dixon there, and then the caution came out and it ruined his race. Pato O'Ward took advantage of it and messed up my predictions. Thanks, Pato, and also happy birthday, Pato O'Ward.
It's all about
what a transition.
It's all about McAdoo's predictions. Yeah, you really shot him down and then tried to here you go. Let me throw you a bone while I'm at it. Yep. So Pato O'Ward wins the Sunday race. His first career IndyCar win. They had been very fast. Barber Motorsports Park, the first race of the year, especially, they looked strong. And Fortunately, pit strategy was what doomed them in the end. They had 3 stops. Some other teams had 2. So Pato O'Ward rounds out the doubleheader with a win. Like we said, no Indy racing this weekend. The road course is up next at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy Grand Prix. So they'll be parking the haulers up there, I would assume, in the near future and getting set for a few weeks there. Indy 500, not too far away. Speaking of Indy 500, we have a 6th Andretti Autosport entrant now into the field, Stefan Wilson. He is going to be at least trying to qualify. He probably will qualify. I mean, it's Andretti Autosport after all. But, this, Zach, okay, this goes back to what I was sort of alluding to when we were talking about Cody Ware running in this race. So Roger Penske, as of, I think it was yesterday, was where I read this, he's anticipating 36 cars to be there for the Indianapolis 500. And, of course, only 33 will qualify. So there is a chance maybe Cody Ware doesn't qualify. I don't know. Do you think he'll qualify?
Dear God, I hope not. Let me tell you why. A couple years ago,
hope so.
2017, we saw a back marker take out Scott Dixon in one of the wildest wrecks I've ever seen. Go back and look, 2017 Indy 500. If you guys haven't seen the wreck, it made me nervous. And I won't explain the whole thing, but it was very wild, and it was because of a guy who doesn't know how to drive. Cody Ware doesn't know how to drive. I'll say that until he proves me wrong. And am I wrong so far? If not for his spins and him calling out Matt DiBenedetto for cheating on his wife, not in NASCAR, would we know who Cody Ware is?
Well, he's Rick Ware's son, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But I guess, probably not. You don't know who a lot of the team owners' sons are, do you? That's a fair point. He is driving a NASCAR Cup car almost every week, though, so got to give him a little props. I think he knows how to drive. He just doesn't know how to drive, or he's not able to drive quite as well as some of these other guys that he's trying to drive alongside. And he's also in inferior equipment, which we've
rephrase. He's trying to outdrive his equipment. That is what, and you can't do that. Is that better?
No, it's good. Works for me.
he's gonna come across this and he's like, you.
Oh yeah, 100%. We are doomed in terms of ever landing employment with Rick Ware Racing. If one of us was trying to do so, not sure we were. At any rate,
I saw a meme today. It was, like the big strong dog, the little dog meme. The big dog was Rick Ware Racing in IndyCar and IndyCar, IMSA, and any other racing. And the little dog was in Rick Ware Racing in NASCAR, and it's spot on.
Pretty much. I don't get it. I don't know. Like it's got to be lack of funding or something, right? Like they just don't care. They're happy to show up. I'm like, well,
the back markers make good enough money. Just send them out there. All right, move on before Rick Ware has us killed.
Yeah, moving on. NASCAR news now. As we get the IndyCar news out of the way. Of course, the big talk of the town around the NASCAR world. This week, the next-gen cars are here. I mean, they sort of were already here. We touched on that, I think, last week when some pictures got leaked, Do we ever follow up? Does that employee still have his job? Well, NASCAR officially released them for public viewing pleasure this Wednesday. It was yesterday at the time we are recording in Charlotte. These things are pretty darn nice, Zach. Talk about sexy. Your thoughts? Did you get a chance to read more into these cars? I just have to throw something else out there. I feel like we're pulling jokes left and right here, things we're seeing this week on this show. But they're dubbing the new era the rebirth of stock. I saw a headline that said a legitimate report, right? The headline was the rebirth of stick, and I was like, what are we doing here? Going back to stick shifting? Wait, they've always been like what? What?
Yeah,
But your reactions, please, to the next gen car. I just got a kick out of that this morning.
I love him. I fell in love with him the second I saw him. The Chevy looks amazing. The Ford looks fantastic. The Toyota, they all just look so beautiful. I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, I think, for sure. Yeah, we should probably put something out, I think, on these. Of course, that little NASCAR section over at flurrysports.org, for those of you who've been following our written content this year, throughout the season, it continues, but maybe one of us can do a little write-up on these cars here in the next few days and toss that up as well. So there's a little more info than we can probably recall off our heads here and give to you on the podcast. You had a couple of other news points for NASCAR, so take it away.
Quick hitters here because these shouldn't take that long. I'll start with the Rafael Lessard. He is out of his Truck Series ride with GMS Racing due to lack of funding. I forget who they have in the 24 this weekend. I just saw it. That was going to piss me off today. I can't think of who it was. So Lessard looking forward to 2022. And now because he's obviously out of his ride. And then today, NASCAR and Rocket League released their combination with NASCAR skins being in the game. It's out now. More expensive than I thought because they're $20, and I wasn't happy when I had to pay that. But they're really cool. I honestly like them. So that's my news.
I wouldn't know anything about that second one. But I am going to try and help you out here and see who is driving that 24 truck. It looks like Ryan Reed. He's in the 24 GMS Chevrolet for Darlington this week. So it is crazy watching the truck races to see Sheldon Creed this past weekend. Sheldon Creed and Zane Smith, who I really like Zane Smith as a driver. I'm not going to lie. I think he has a lot of good skill. He's driving up through the field, it seems like, each and every week, even when they have tough breaks and whatnot. But two of the better truckers in the series with plain white trucks. It kind of sucks.
Creed especially because he won the championship last year and he's running a blank truck.
Yeah. Not sure if that's like a disconnect. Like I don't know. I don't really get it because Tyler Enkrum had his truck orange and black. So is it something with GMS that's fallen through, or I don't know.
I think just these guys need funding, and I don't know. I think they just need driver sponsorship instead of team sponsorship.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think our pockets have enough cash to maybe throw the podcast on a truck, but maybe down the road. Maybe down the road. Huh?
I have $3.
We're on our way.
Let's not GMS. Let's see how much.
You better start winning those DFS. Pick it up, my man.
But I'm trying. I am trying.
I didn't mean to throw shade at you. Speaking of DFS, on to Darlington Raceway this weekend. Throwback weekend, as we mentioned off the top. All three NASCAR series are in action. We're primarily going to focus on those Cup boys like we always do here in terms of breaking down the race and sharing some picks. I think, I know for a fact more of the throwback paint schemes have been revealed since we talked about them like 3 weeks ago or something. Any others that you particularly have your eye on that you would recommend the people check out? Because that Justin Allgaier one is sick for sure.
I'm gonna go this. Okay, I was told it wasn't a throwback, but I don't care. I'm still considering it a throwback. The 07 of Joe Graff Jr. running a Back to the Future scheme. It was sick. I'm a big fan of Back to the Future. I can't wait to see that car on track on Saturday.
Likewise, and I have not seen that one, so I'll be checking that one out. I like the Tyler Ankrum Talladega Nights inspired one for the truck race as well. So there's some good schemes across all three races this weekend. So be sure to check those out before they might get a little scuffed up with the old Darlington stripe.
The lady in black will get you every time.
She sure will. Please enlighten us a little more on Darlington Raceway before we get into some stats and some handicapping.
Okay, one of the oldest tracks in NASCAR. I believe they said it was the first paved track in NASCAR too. Opened in 1950. The Southern 500 was the first race. They've run the Southern 500 every year since then. That's why it's one of NASCAR's crown jewels. This week is not the Southern 500 though. It is the Goodyear 400. Just noting that out. This track will eat your tires just as bad as Atlanta, Homestead. So you're going to see a lot of teams pit multiple times shouldn't say multiple times, but you'll see them pit a lot during the races this weekend. And we also 2015 was the first throwback weekend because they moved the Southern 500 back to Labor Day. Ever since then, Darlington has had their throwback weekend during the Southern 500, but this year they changed it up because the Southern 500 falls in the playoffs. They decided we'll just let you have it in the spring, and it just happens to come on Mother's Day, so don't forget about your moms this weekend when you're watching the race.
There you go. Don't forget about your moms. The track also has an interesting shape. What was it you had in your race overview? It's like they avoided a minnow pond.
Yeah, there was a minnow pond that they had to avoid because the minnow pond's owner didn't want to share his land, so they had to, kind of avoid it in turns 3 and 4, and yeah. Oh yeah, another interesting fact that I don't know how this escaped my mind. They used to drive in the flat. They didn't use the banking until later on when they discovered it was faster. They drove in the flat for the longest time and the banking was just there to help drivers not go outside the track.
Interesting. Well, maybe that explains why. So I dug into the spring race here, the Goodyear 400, as it's called this year, a little more. First was held in 1952. Then it wasn't run again until 57. But that 52 race, so get this, only 80 laps run. Every other race, obviously at Darlington, in the spring anyway, I did not look, including the Southern 500, the fall race, but every other race since has been more than 200. And of course, we're pushing 300 here with the current distance of 400 miles. That one was only 80 laps. The average speed of the race winner was like just over 80 miles an hour. So maybe that speaks to not using that banking to their advantage, and no Darlington stripes back then, I guess you could say.
I wouldn't say there was none. I mean, you could have a guy end up in the wall.
Yeah, true, but I don't know how well you're going to keep cruising along with a stripe like that. The Goodyear 400 also nicknamed still kind of the Rebel 400. That dates back to 1957. I believe it was through 78. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it right in front of me here at this second. Where it was any variation of the Rebel 400, Rebel 300, Rebel 350. I think there was a 500 in there one year. So this race kind of known as the Rebel race. It went away for a period after that first race before returning in 57. And then it also went away again from 2004 to 2019. There was no race Goodyear 400, which is what it is today. And then last year they came back, of course, with 2 because of the rescheduling on the fly. And now it's throwback weekend. So, yeah, a lot of evolution here with the spring weekend in Darlington for sure.
Yeah, Darlington was the first track that there is coming out of the COVID break last year, and we were so glad. I shouldn't speak for you, but I was so glad to see NASCAR back, and it definitely was too long without NASCAR last year.
It was the only game in town for a while, so I was thrilled to have a sport.
I mean, you had Bundesliga, you had UFC, you had. I just had one. I just forgot it now.
I don't watch those. KBO, you were probably into that too. Were you into the Russian ping pong? People were betting on Russian ping pong like it was like the NFL last spring. That's where we were at. But we're not gonna relive those days too much.
I tried to watch KBO. I couldn't get into it. I don't know what it is. It was on at 4:00 in the morning. I'm not getting up to watch baseball.
Well, yeah, that's mainly why I didn't get into it right there, even though my sleep habits are not recommended to anyone for sure.
And granted, I love baseball. I bought MLB The Show because I've been missing baseball way too long without a game. But anyways, back to NASCAR, because this isn't other sports show.
Yeah, we better do that. So a little more on the track itself here before we dive into some picks and whatnot. A lot of people would say Darlington's the most unique track in all of NASCAR. Unique length, 1.366 miles is the official lap length, one trip around. And it's not easy to drive here because of that minnow pond that Zach was talking about.
Egg
The
shape.
ends are it's an egg shape, yeah. Like he just used his fingers to like show me somehow on the screen. I don't know what that was, but
I was
so
supposed
yeah.
to be an egg, but that could have been something else that we probably should not be talking about. YouTube's going to take us down.
Moving on, one of the ends is wider and longer than the other end because of that stupid minnow pond, which I didn't see a minnow pond when I was looking at a more updated aerial version of the track this week. So it doesn't look like that pond lasted, but I guess that guy got his way back in 1950 or whatever it was. So it's really hard to get a car set up that's going to be an ideal fit for two ends of a track that are completely different.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no doubt.
so Darlington's not an easy place to race. On top of that, you have the tires wearing, like Zach already mentioned. So this is a short track where the racing is always exciting. Last year's winners, of course, in the spring race anyway, the two of them, Kevin Harvick took the first, Denny Hamlin the second. Kevin Harvick also won the Southern 500 here last fall. So a couple of names to note there for sure. In terms of average finish, getting into some stats here. I'm sorry, Kevin Harvick didn't win the Southern 500.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. All right. This list is not updated. I don't know who's this?
What drugs is he on?
Motor Racing Network, get your crap together. Yeah. Kevin Harvick won one of the spring, Denny Hamlin the second, and then Kevin Harvick won the Southern 500. All right, here's a better one. Average finish over the last 6 races at Darlington. Now, Kyle Larson has only run 2 of those, but he's finished top 5 both times. Didn't win either one, but has a second place in there, and then he finished third in the other one. So he actually has the best average finish when we're looking at Darlington races since February of 18. Kevin Harvick would be right behind. Eric Jones is at 5.2. Now, of course, he doesn't have Joe Gibbs equipment this year, but that is a guy with a solid average finish here at the track. Too tough to tame. Got a handful of other drivers sub and with a top 10 average finish, I should say, in the last 5 at Darlington. That would be Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray don't count. So yeah, in descending order there. Any thoughts on those names before we pivot into some actual discussion? Eric Jones is definitely the one that I think sticks out to me as a guy might be looking to hop on maybe a little bit with some sort of. I mean, we don't think he's going to go out and win this race, right? For Richard Petty Motorsports, but maybe some DFS. He does not have a good starting spot, so it could be some positions to be gained there. I don't know.
I mean, I think I'll save it for the DFS section here.
I was trying to throw you right into it.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, but okay, so I'm gonna go. I immediately Harvick. What else is new? But I feel like it's low hanging fruit with Harvick and this track. He's so good here. 2 wins here last year.
Just to jump in real quick, so I said Larson has the best average finish since February of 18 at Darlington, right? But he's only run 2 races, average finish for 2.5. Kevin Harvick's run all 5, average finish 2.6. Enough
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that he's only 10,500 and he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's the 8th highest driver in money wise. Take advantage of that.
What?
That's absolutely stupid for them to do him that low. And I think he'll go out and prove them all wrong. He sees the haters. I'm gonna go with Austin Dillon. He had one hell of a run here in the fall at the Southern 500. Almost got Harvick at the line, just came up short, and I believe he's going to maybe not finish second again, but he should definitely have a strong car. RCR, I think, has turned a corner. Knock on wood. They're back. They might be back, and Austin Dillon might lead the charge.
So both he and Tyler Reddick, just to jump on this RCR train, they have been running really well. They both had top 10 last week. They both were strong for most of the Talladega race as well. Now, RCR does have a solid history at Darlington. They, among active race teams, have the most wins in the spring Darlington races. A defunct team had the most all time, but Richard Childress Racing has the most in the spring Darlington race among active teams. Now, none have come since Dale Earnhardt back in '94, but maybe worth looking at that 3-car like Zach said. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
And then the value play this week. You did say, you said his name. I fully agree.
Did I ruin it? I'm sorry.
No, Eric Jones. Well, how could he not take this guy? He after his win, this is one of his good tracks. He won here in 2019. He knows how to get around this track. Well, he might be in RPM equipment, but here it's all about managing tires, and I believe Eric Jones knows how to manage the tires and should do well on Sunday.
Yeah, for DFS, I can't blame you one bit. Just looking at the grid here, he starts all the way down in 26th. Should be able to make up some positions at the very least. And like we said, yeah, he's not in JGR equipment anymore, but average finish of 5.2 over the last 5 races. He's got a win. He's got 3 top 5s, and he's been top 10 in all of them. He's led over 100 laps. So might not lead laps this week. Eric Jones, I like that play a lot. Who would you be looking to avoid, a name or two that, shall we say, don't necessarily have a history of taming the track too tough to tame?
I'll give you 200 guys, and everyone knows how big I am on Hendrick. Chase Elliott, William Byron. They start 5th and 6th. Byron starts 5th. Elliott starts 6th. They haven't really done much here. I mean, yes, Elliott led late in the race, got taken out in the last Southern 500 by Truex Jr. throwing a bad block. But still, that's nothing you want out of a guy. It's because you don't play to their best position that they had. You play to where they finished, and Chase Elliott didn't finish well here. And then Byron, he hasn't done anything noteworthy here that I can think of.
One I gotta ask you about though, like fading William Byron right now, that's asking a lot, man. Top 10, he's like top 10 every week. You sure? I know I'm looking at average finish now. It's like 21 something over the last 5 here, which I don't know how many of those he would have run. He's run all 5, so still.
Yeah. The way I see it, this track will ruin you. It doesn't care about any streak you have. It just cares about you hitting the wall, you ruining your tires, and you not being able to tame it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I guess we'll find out. That's the only way we can. We'll see on Sunday. He's so hot right now, though. I don't know if I can get behind that one entirely. But at any rate,
prove me wrong.
He's got a top 5. He has a top 5. You said he's done nothing. He has a top 5 in the last 5.
Put him in your DFS lineup, then we'll see.
That's why I try and focus on betting, because DFS is not my wheelhouse. Speaking of betting, as it's pretty good comprehensive DFS coverage there, looking at some DraftKings odds to win the Goodyear 400, Kyle Larson sitting up there as favorite. He should have won last week. NASCAR robbed him. Bettors don't care. The odds makers don't care. 4-1. Your Goodyear 400 favorite. Behind him, Denny Hamlin is 6-1. Kevin Harvick 7-1. Martin Truex Jr. is plus 750. Kyle Busch 8-1. Brad Keselowski 9-1, and Chase Elliott is 10-1. So I guess those would be your 7 drivers, 10-1 or less. I think that is a solid pool of favorites, if you will. Who jumps out there to you, Zach? I have a feeling I know where you're going with this, but hey, I like his price, so if it is him, the floor is all yours.
This will either be the correct pick or the absolute kiss of death, and he finishes bottom 30, not bottom 30, but below 30th. Kevin Harvick.
There it is.
Yeah, we knew it was coming. How can you not know it was coming?
I don't know, actually.
He's just so good at Darlington. And I don't know how you could pick another driver based on their stats at this track. I mean, Harvick's just the guy right now here. And, well,
that's all you got. That's all you really need to say. We went over his stats. I'll just look at his rating here while we're at it, too.
I was going to say, am I going to jinx him, or am I going to get my first correct pick of the year?
His average driver rating now, remember, Kyle Larson's only run 2 races, right? So I'm almost disqualifying Larson's stats for now because it's a sample size that is 3 races fewer at this track. Kevin Harvick outpaces the driver with the next highest rating, which would be Martin Truex Jr., by almost 10 whole points over 5 races. At 7-1, he's not the favorite. He's $3 longer than the favorite, Kyle Larson, who deserves to be a favorite. I think when you look at his stats in 2 races, the most recent one, sure.
We're not trying
the value is there with Kevin Harvick. I like the play. Go ahead.
I'm not trying to disavow Larson because he actually had a very strong race here a couple of years ago and lost it in the end to Keselowski 2017, I believe. Was it?
I can't remember what happened yesterday.
But yeah,
look. Let's see. Go ahead.
But Larson is not the guy right now at this track. It's Harvick.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That was 2017 by the looks. 2018. 2018.
Was up by 1.
Was Keselowski.
Oh, Hamlin. So. Hamlin was 2017. That's good. He had both Xfinity and Cup taken away from him. He was encumbered.
Yeah, it's like throwing me off here looking at these numbers that Darlington didn't have a spring race, and then all of a sudden they had 2 spring races, and I'm just like, and a fall race. Like there were 3 races here last year after we had 1.
They went from 1 race a year to 3. Oh, God.
You switched sides. What happened? What'd you say?
You did something now. What the hell? But I said, yeah, we went from having 1 race a year to 3 in 1 year, and now they tripled their amount of races in 1 year, and now you're black.
Oh wow,
your screen's black. Way to go!
You can hear me, right? This is a podcast. Who cares? Let's see here. Some other names in terms of odds to win. We covered the top 7 there. Joey Logano's 14-1. William Byron 16-1. Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman 20-1. Christopher Bell 25-1. Yeah, we'll throw Kurt Busch in here too. 35-1. Anyone that, based on the price there, kind of in that second tier, you might take a look at, or not interested at all? It would have to be somebody at longer odds.
I don't think it's going to be any of those guys. Maybe let's hear the longer odds.
All right, longer odds it is. Matt DiBenedetto, Tyler Reddick, 40-1. Austin Dillon, 50-1.
I like Dillon there, honestly.
Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, 80-1. Buescher, 100-1. The reason I asked you the question that way is because I would much rather get involved in kind of that third tier, if you will, from the 40 to 100-1 range than I would that second tier. At those price points, I think either of your RCR cars have a shot, knowing how Reddick runs the high line and what Austin Dillon has done here in the past. I think Matt DiBenedetto comes in hot. I wouldn't sleep on the 21. Maybe not to win, but Zach doesn't like when I do the top 3, top 10s. But Matt DiBenedetto plus 135 for a top 10. You can get
you go all or nothing here. There's none of this top 3 placement bull. You got to it's win or nothing. What do you bet?
Not when you're betting, sir. Plus 160 for a top 10 on Austin Dillon. Love it. Eric Jones at 80-1 to win. He's plus 235 for a top 10. Would you take that? Because I know you're not betting Eric Jones to win this race, are you?
You said plus 230 for a top 10?
Yes.
I would take that, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. I think he's going to get a top 10 at this track. Granted, like you said, his equipment isn't that good, but Eric Jones is just too good here. He's not too good. He's very good here.
Indeed, he is. All right, so I think we're aligning on a lot of our picks and kind of our feel based on where the numbers are right now. You can jump over to some matchups here, see what we have. Kyle Larson is a minus 134 favorite to Denny Hamlin at even money. Would you do anything there? It's one that stood out to me.
I don't like Larson's odds, and I'm not. Who knows if Hamlin's going to choke one away this week like he did last week.
I hear you for sure. Now, I'll tell you two I am getting involved in, though. At least one of these is going to be in the article. Eric Jones is plus 100 to Eric Almirola at minus 134, and Tyler Reddick is minus 109. Now, he still got to lay 9 cents, but he is a dog to Kurt Busch at minus 122, and I like both the dogs there.
I don't understand having two people below the minus 109. Or minus there. I do like Reddick in that scenario. Kurt Busch needs to prove to me that he can get back to the front. He's out of the playoffs right now, which that surprises me. Matthew Benedetto has jumped Kurt Busch in the standings.
Yeah, now Kurt Busch. Sorry, what else?
I was going to say, it surprised me. He's fallen off the cliff.
Yeah, he has not looked good. Now, Kurt Busch is really good in terms of history at Darlington. Average finish was 7.8 in the last 5, a top 5 and 4 top 10s in there. Best finish of 3rd, and he hasn't finished lower than 15th. But the way that team's running right now, that's more of a fade the present, I think, like you were saying, than it is a play on Kurt Busch's numbers at Darlington. But I also think Reddick is hot, and Reddick, he can run well here too. So those are a couple of angles to look at that there. So just if you're looking at Kurt Busch's numbers and you're like, hold on a second, he's actually good here. That is kind of the reasons. Austin Dillon, all right, I got to ask you this one. Austin Dillon's minus 106 in a matchup with Matty D at minus 125. That's got to be Dillon, right? That's so tough because they're both running well. That's got to be Dillon at the prices, though.
Yeah, I agree, but that's a tough, like you said, it's a tough matchup, and maybe leading Dillon more based on his last finish here. It's just, that's super tough. That's tougher. I believe that's tougher than Larson and Hamlin, honestly.
I think I'm right there with you, to be honest with you. I would rather lay the money with Larson than call a side on that matchup, but I would have to go Dillon if you put a gun to my head. I'm not even going to ask you about Group D because it's all 4 of those guys we just talked about. But pick a letter, A through C, or E or F.
Press F in the chat.
All right. Ryan Newman, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, plus 245. Oh, Ross Chastain, plus 275. That's Group F.
I'm almost tempted for Chastain.
I am too. When I look at those initially, I got to look at some numbers more here, though, but let's see.
With no context, I like Chastain going off the old memory bank. Because Chastain almost won the Xfinity Series last year. Granted, it's not the Cup, but he knows how to run this track.
Right, and he's in Chip Ganassi
equipment
now, and they just ran well. Now, in 3 prior Cup races, it's not pretty for Chastain. I'll just leave it at that.
He also ran for Spire Motorsports.
It's also not pretty, though, for Ricky Stenhouse. Ryan Newman, just 17.2. And this is the last 5, by the way, average finish. And who else we got here? Bubba Wallace. How could I forget Bubba? Bubba Wallace is not good either. So 3 of the guys in Group F, average finish in the last 5. Now, they haven't all run 5, Chastain being one of them. 3 of them 25 or worse. And then you got Newman at 17.2. So given those odds, 42 looked pretty good last week. I think I might be right on board with you there. Do you have a pick for manufacturer? Like, would you be willing to bet Ford to win the race if you're high on Harvick? Or
because if not Harvick, Keselowski's very strong here. Logano has proven he can race up with the big boys here. I shouldn't say up with the big boys. He is one of them, but I feel like Ford is going to be very strong this week.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Ford would be plus 180. Chevy's plus 160. Toyota's also plus 180, just to reference those odds quick. And hey, if you don't want to bet on just one of Reddick or Dillon, which I don't know why you wouldn't just bet on both at their price points, RCR is 20-1 to be the team of the race winner. Don't go down that route. Just put $5 on both guys, and if one of them's going to win, you'll be fine there. Anything else on the Goodyear 400? I think we hit paint schemes, we hit stats, we hit the lady in black, we hit race odds, we hit DFS. Anything else?
I think it's everything. And if we missed anything, we'll have it on the site.
Yeah, 100%. So the NASCAR section over at flurrysports.org. Check it out.
Our own little section.
Our own little section. We're so proud of it. We're going to keep it going all season long. You got anything on the Truck or Xfinity? Do you got like a pick to win? Because I do have odds for those. If you want to throw out a name, I can tell you what their price is.
JBM. That's all I need to say.
Let's see here. John Hunter plus 225 to win that Truck Series race. And is he the only truck going for them this week?
No, they have the 18-1.
Who else is driving?
Chandler Smith might be one of them.
I am not.
Corey Haim?
There it is. JBL Toyota. There he is. Let's see. What are his odds? 18-1. So you got John Hunter plus 225 and Corey Haim at 18-1.
And then Chandler Smith.
KBM in the truck race. Chandler Smith 20-1. I mean, it's got to be, I think, John Hunter for me there. But yeah. Austin Hill, I'm keeping an eye on him at 5-1 after last week. I'll say that much. Plus 140 for a top 3. And because I like Zane Smith, 7-1. Maybe not a bad look there. Anyone in Xfinity? Justin Allgaier in that nice paint scheme there. He is 8-1. Austin Cindric's your race favorite at plus 325.
What about Allmendinger?
The Dinger plus 450. Second shortest odds.
I like his scheme this week, so hopefully he gets it done.
There you go. Your last Xfinity winner, Jeb Burton, that rain-shortened deal at Talladega, 33-1 to win at Darlington this week, to go back-to-back. Wouldn't that be something? Zach, you got anything else? I think we covered, we hit just about everything. The recaps, the news, the preview. We even went into odds for the trucks and Xfinity. There's no IndyCar this weekend. Sorry, but they'll be back next week.
And we'll have more stuff on them next week.
Absolutely.
No, but subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast, Google Podcast. Do whatever at iHeartRadio because I know they have podcasts and their own stuff now. Am I missing any other podcasts at places we are at?
Those are the 4. Those are the big 4.
Good. All right. He is dark red. I can't point the right way. Which way is it?
Don't even point to me. I'm not there. And they can't see me when they listen to it anyway.
You got to do this for the watchers. He is at Hangtime Sports. I am at CT McAdoo. The show at Burnt Rub Racing on Twitter. FlurrySports.org with all our little NASCAR stuff. We are on Thursdays. We do our show live. Time varies week to week because we have crap to do.
That it does. Maybe we can get a little more consistent going forward.
What
Like
is
I said,
consistency? We're
I don't know. I already mentioned my bedtime. I'm not going down that road on anymore.
we are JTT Doherty when it comes to picking a time.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, hey, you just did all my work for me, closing out the show. So thanks for that. And yeah, enjoy Throwback Weekend, everyone.
Oh, wait a
Darlington's
minute.
always a blast.
Look,
Oh boy,
go to my Twitter. Go read my TJ Oshie story.
TJ Oshie story. Check it out. He's wearing a Capitals jersey. For those who are listening to the audio
It's a
version of this,
TJ Oshie jersey. Don't hate.
it's a Capitals jersey.
TJ Oshie.
At that note, enjoy Throwback Weekend. Enjoy Darlington.
Osh, babe.
And we're done because he's getting out of control. We will see you next week. This has been episode 12 of Burnt Rubber Racing. Have a good weekend, everyone.